And go. Go.
I think you should start.
Go. I should start.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know how.
welcome.
Welcome to our podcast. Welcome to the short of it. Tony wants me to practice my skills at announcing. So here I am.
And
My
you
name's
are-
Rochelle. I'm
Thank you.
getting to that.
Oh my
God.
gosh.
Give me some time. Just because I don't talk 1,000 miles a minute like some people.
It is not going to be indicative of this conversation.
No, it's-
You and I will get along.
Well, we always get along.
We always get along. That's true. Okay. Did you want to try it again, or is this?
Oh, except you know what? When we don't get along is when you're always making white jokes.
Yeah, but sometimes you just throw in that small ball, and I just knock it out the park. I'm Tony. Welcome to the short of it. You already said that.
Yeah, I did. I'm her sidekick, Rochelle. That's really how we open the show. It works so much better that way. I should never open it.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Well,
Anyway,
we're here.
we're here. We're here
We're here.
discussing short people, short tempers, and short films.
And the people who make them,
People who make them, people who are involved in filmmaking. Yeah.
whether they're directors, producers, writers, actors, composers, PAs like ourselves, and we're open to any PA work
Yep.
this fall.
Looking
if you're
open to
looking
work.
or, hiring some middle-aged PAs.
You'd be like, here, carry that over there. Oh, I can't lift that in my back.
Here are my list of disabilities.
Yes.
Carry over 50 pounds. Are you high? Anyways, but other stuff we can do, and we
Yep.
can,
Yeah. Like interview young filmmakers.
yes,
Yeah.
like the one that we have on today.
Yes. Did you like that segue?
I did.
I tried.
All right.
Okay.
Brendan,
It was a good segue.
Thank you. Thank you so
don't
much.
suck up to her, Brendan.
She was my old filter.
Go on.
Yeah, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, you're just knocking it out the park right now. But tell us. So first of all, we have to say that he is also an FSU alum. Woohoo!
Shout out. Shout out to FSU.
Go
And
Falcons.
go Falcons!
Falcons.
Go
Go
Falcons!
Falcons. Yeah.
And also a former student of my esteemed co-host here, Dr. Dermer.
Oh, come on. Don't pull that nonsense.
Oh.
Rochelle.
It's Rochelle. But yeah. So before we talk to Brendan, what kind of student was he?
Fantastic.
Really? Are you just saying that because he's right here?
No.
Okay.
Were you in 2019 fall?
I was in spring of 2020 because
Okay.
we were together before everything went to hell, and then afterwards we went virtual. Then I was in the TV show writing class.
Oh, okay.
That fall.
Okay.
So this is the first time I've seen you in person, not behind a screen, in half a decade, which is counting.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, you had to put it like that. Half a decade. Whew.
Yeah.
Yikes.
That's only 5 years.
I know, but still.
Also 5 years.
Yeah, it sounds devastating.
It
Somehow.
does.
Yeah, when it's half a decade. But you're right. It is only 5 years. Only
So
5
wait,
years.
you never met Rochelle in person?
We had probably 2 or 3 weeks in person, and what a great 2 or 3 weeks it was. But then we
A lot of
went on
sucking
spring
up.
break.
Good. This guy's good.
We went on spring break. It's the longest spring break I ever had.
Yes,
6,
yes.
7
When
months.
they're like, oh, we're going to keep you out for a week or 2 or 3. Yeah. And then
By the way, there's a new plague around.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And what kind of professor was she?
Oh, she was fantastic.
Good answer.
There's just way too much love happening here, so I'm going to stop it.
Okay, fine.
So you graduated in 2019,
2021.
2021. Okay, I don't know how I got my math wrong.
I
but yeah,
started at FSU in 2019.
2019. Those were the numbers that were going around before we started.
And
Okay, so
Started the job. It's straight into lockdown. basically.
okay, so you graduated in 2021,
Right.
and you have been kind of really. I got to go to my phone to kind of do a little mini
our
intro.
producer doesn't give us notes anymore.
Um,
maybe?
Next week, notes pending.
He has, since graduation, Brendan's been working in the industry for the last 3 years, working on a number of high-profile productions for studios such as HBO, Sony Pictures, Universal, and Netflix, to name a few. Go on, Brendan.
I forgot to put Lifetime in there. That should be cheap.
Oh my gosh, Lifetime
Lifetime.
television for women. You should have led with that.
I
You were
know.
middle-aged women.
Yes, that's all we watch.
Yeah,
well, I mean,
Lifetime.
I worked on a bunch of movies. They're rocking like 200 ratings on IMDb right now. Not nothing.
We should be a Lifetime movie.
We should, actually. But there's nothing, no, we can't. I can't.
They make stuff out of nothing.
I know they do. I've enjoyed a few of those just because it's raining outside and I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
So I'll watch
Oh,
it.
we know. We know.
Nice.
Jump in the spikes. Ratings.
It's like,
Oh, it must be raining in Boston.
We have a Doppler radar.
But yeah, how's that been going?
It's been going good. I tried to get myself busy as soon as I graduated, and the first year or so that was easier said than done because just due to circumstances, I actually had to move out of state to Virginia,
Wow.
and there's not much of a film scene down there. I got a couple of little things. I was an extra in an Apple TV show for a few episodes, but I remember they would have signs that say Virginia's for film lovers, but film there was not. So the goal was to always come back up to Mass because I've always loved it. It's a fairly big industry, but it's also still like a community. You know, it's and I had a couple of friends who were in the industry, and one of them who was second ADing on a film brought me on, and it's just kind of been snowballing from there. The last thing I was on, which I am allowed to talk about, was I worked on for a day on The Devil Wears Prada 2.
Oh, wow.
So when
How cool is that?
I'm
Yeah.
so jealous.
it yeah, Meryl was fun. No,
Wait, did you meet Meryl?
I saw
Look at me
Meryl.
calling her Meryl.
I saw
Miss
Mare. I saw
Tucci.
Mare. I didn't meet him. I did have a brief interaction with Stanley Tucci. Nice fella.
I love Daniel Tucci.
Yeah,
too.
he was great character actor. But
Yes.
that was in Manhattan, so I went all the way there and back in a day, and didn't want to spend money on a hotel, so I just pounded a Monster and came home.
Whoa.
Mom, if you're listening, are you proud? Are you proud of my life choices? But something that I've always wanted to do my whole life is direct. And so I've made quite a few short films, and a lot of them weren't really going anywhere because it's a very tricky market. There's not like mainstream avenues for shorts can be very, very tricky, and there's a lot of internal politics when it comes to various film festivals. I'm looking at you, Sundance. But I had this idea for a very long time for this one specific film. I've always loved boxing films, you know, Rocky, Raging Bull, The Fighter, and
Creed.
of course.
Yeah. Come on,
just the first one.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, there's like a couple good scenes I like in the second one, but yeah. So, and I have always loved just bare knuckle boxing. And I noticed that there isn't a lot of feature films that are primarily bare knuckle. You have ones like Sherlock Holmes and Snatch, which have bare knuckle scenes, and apparently Guy Ritchie is the only one who knows how to make those things look cool. But there was nothing that ever like really spoke to that that part of history. And I'm a huge fan of history. I've always been like when I was failing every other class in high school, I was always doing well in history. So especially local history. So I would look into the history of Irish immigrants coming over. I'm half Irish myself, and I sort of concocted the story of Irishman comes over to America, can't find work, becomes a bare knuckle boxer, hijinks ensue. And I just kind of had that germ of an idea rattling around, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. Was it a short? Was it a feature? And originally it was a 30-page short, which would be very difficult to sell a 30-minute short and very expensive to make any 30-minute short, let alone a period piece, a sports period piece. and my first AD sort of talked me down from there. But I realized in just that 30-minute short, I had so much more I wanted to say. So I just kept adding and adding, and before I knew it, I had a feature. But as someone like me, a lowly PA, it's difficult to, get those meetings, get in the door, and wave your script around. I'm sure there's armies of 20-somethings going out to studios every year with the exact same intentions I have. So I'm like, what could I have? What do I have right now? Or what could I make right now which could showcase what I'm capable of? I can manage a budget. I can move the camera in interesting ways. So I decided to go the proof of concept route. I've always been a big fan of guys like Robert Rodriguez. I've read Rebel Without a Crew several
Read that
times.
several times as well.
He just released an audiobook, and he added a lot to it as well.
Oh wow.
Okay, I'm gonna have to listen to that.
Yeah, it's on Hoopla. But people like that, and Damien Chazelle with Whiplash, and it's a very advantageous way I've found to get people's interest. So I've spent the last year or so just fine tuning the script, whittling it down. It was about 5 pages when we shot it versus the 30 that I originally had. And just assembling a crew, getting everything ready, having contingency plans, everything that goes into a short film.
Right.
And we've shot a vast majority of it over the summer. We have one more day this Sunday, just for a couple of little things. But as far as the big, expensive stuff, that was all done back in July.
You are one of the few guests that we've had on who are young, aspiring filmmakers. Talk about how difficult that is, because there is ageism in this business, right? Whether it's on you're too young or you're inexperienced just by how old you are, or well, not us. We have good street cred. But if we were starting now, people would laugh at us.
Well, yeah, because of the whole disability list of things we.
Well,
can't
there's
do.
that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, of course.
Pregnant.
It's
I would hire you.
Sorry. That was a total non sequitur. Have you been following the Cardi B trial?
No, I haven't.
The guy's like, "What's your disability?" She's like, I was pregnant.
Of course.
I don't know he was on trial.
but you
No, she wasn't on trial. It was a civil suit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
keep up, V.
Dude.
Ah,
My gosh.
what's wrong?
Yeah, thank you, Peggy.
Yeah, Peggy.
Yeah.
Um,
After an hour, the jury found her not
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
I'm not.
It
with
was
the
a
culture.
frivolous lawsuit, and she went on camera and
you
said,
seem to kind
"Listen,
of go
people,
off topic just a
don't
little
sue
bit,
me because
Brendan.
I won't
Oh,
pay."
no,
Okay, sorry.
I like the flow.
That's the short of it.
That is the short of it.
Yeah,
But
sure.
it is hard
Mm-hmm.
just starting out, but you have managed to at least get your foot in the door of some major companies, right? Production companies. And was that part easy for you? I mean, certainly just being in the presence of Meryl, one could, I probably would have just tripped myself in front of her and been like, "Oh, and are you okay? Yeah, here's my script." Like, I don't know. That's just me. But how are you finding that advantageous to your filmmaking pursuits?
I think if there's any
That was
kind
a
of
long
bias,
question.
It was a long question.
Sorry.
oh, there for a long answer.
um,
I think if anything, there certainly is a bias towards younger filmmakers in the sense that they see a lot of them as they only grew up watching YouTube or something. Like,
Right.
oh, they don't care about the craft of cinema.
right.
Which is just not true. I mean, you look at people like Kane Pixels, who made this short film called Backrooms, which is he was like a 15-year-old. It's one of the most impressive shorts I've ever seen, and he got a deal with A24 through that short. And even just seeing the way that the language of cinema has sort of transcended into things like YouTube and TikTok. I'm kind of a Luddite when it comes to social media, so I don't really use much of anything. But when it comes to framing and lighting, it kind of just comes with the territory now. So I feel that younger filmmakers, younger people instinctively are like just naturally better filmmakers than where they were 10 years ago. I think the thing, if there is anything, is that I find younger filmmakers to be a little too gear focused, because when you
Yeah.
look at filmmaking channels, it's all about, oh, whatever black magic, whatever you have, or this or that. It's like, can you guys talk about theme or story or pacing or something? Or any movie that was made pre John Hughes. um, but I think the thing with me is that, like, this is all I've ever wanted to do, ever since I was just a youngin'. And I think that I've always treated it like a job, because if you want this to be your job, you need to treat it like a job. And that is probably the biggest issue I find with not just younger filmmakers, any filmmaker, is that they don't treat it like a job. Oh, I'll just do this 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I have my 9 to 5, I have this or that. And a lot of them will just kind of coast in a level of comfortability. It's like, well, if you do want to achieve these big goals,
You have to
and
be uncomfortable.
you have to be uncomfortable. If you want a studio to launch $100 million at you, you need to build that trust and rapport.
Yep.
And a lot of it is just really a basic understanding of business. I'm not a business bro at all, but I like to think that I have a good work ethic, which was instilled in me from a very young age. So I understand that it's both a financial and a creative side. It
Yes.
sucks that it is, but it is.
Oh, don't tell me about it.
If
Yeah.
you were talking to someone who's just looking to get into the film industry, how would you suggest that they build that rapport?
When did he get that?
I know. I don't know. Like, what the hell? Who? What,
What has
you're-
happened?
I don't know.
Well,
Okay,
it's
okay,
a good
whatever.
question. I would say just keep making things. I went back and I watched a couple of the short films I made in high school, and they're bad. They're just bad. But I don't regret making them at all, because it taught me the basics of lighting and managing a crew and budgeting and just time management. And I think another thing is scaling yourself up, because I'm sure you two can attest to this. No studio is going to hire you if you're making another love story in your apartment or your dorm room, which is the mentality I had with making The Dubliner. Yes, this was a story I wanted to tell, but I also knew that it would probably get a couple more sets of eyes on it versus just another run-of-the-mill drama, a tone poem. So when they see that I have this big scary guy with a mustache, or that I went to Martha's Vineyard and shot on an actual boat, like, those are the things that I'm trying to convey. Like, hey, I am able to take those steps, and I am able to, make something that both, critics and audiences would like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's evident in the production values of the clip you sent. Which is this a good time to watch that?
I
clip?
think it is.
Okay, let's
do you
do
need
it.
to set it up, or it speaks for itself?
I think it speaks for itself.
All right.
Well, at least I'd like to
love
think so.
that.
But yeah, it's just a 30-second little teaser, just highlighting various parts of the film, and I hope you enjoy.
Tightness gone to Wellahorn, it was the crest when you was born. Your father's father wore it, and your father wore it too. Alanto, jolly rumbaloo, we were up long before the day out to welcome in the summer, to welcome in the Mayo. For summer is a coming in and winter's gone away.
I love the music. So bare knuckles so would that be the equivalent of like MMA now?
Yeah, I'd say it's a bit less complicated.
Okay.
What I've always been interested in is that bare knuckle is actually considered safer than traditional boxing. Because you see all those, sorry for anybody who's just listening, but you see all those old photos of like old-timey boxers. They don't have their hands up here, they have them down here.
Yeah.
And it's because when you hit somebody, when you hit somebody in the head, and the head is a blunt object enough, you're gonna break your hand. So they typically didn't go for the head. It was mostly body blows, and it only went 5 rounds, which is traditional normal boxing goes about 15.
Right.
So there was next to no concussions, and it was much shorter. There was a bit more of an art to it, I find.
Okay, so note to self, don't punch anyone in the head.
Right, unless you have to. I mean,
Well,
you might break your hand. That's all.
I don't want to break my hand.
But do they deserve it? That's the question.
Correct. Yeah. That's
I ask that of myself with Fee every week.
yeah. Yeah. But we could just get a
And I
weapon.
never deserve it.
Talk a little bit about, your development of the characters in directing this piece. And yes, this was just a little teaser, so you're going to have to go and look for more. But just talk about that part a little bit.
Like just the characters themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Like, were these people in your life that you knew? Were they portrayed, family members or people in your community? Like,
I based a lot of it off not really any specific historical figure or character, more like just the historical pretense. Like the main character, his name is Cian, which is a very traditional Irish name. I didn't want to give him a name like Patrick O'Donnelly or something.
thank you.
Yes, of course. And he's a character. He comes over from Dublin during the what was seemingly the end, or at least it was coming off the vast amount of just anti-Irish discrimination that was happening, especially in the Irish capital of the country, Boston. That was more prevalent in the 1850s. My film takes place in the 1890s, specifically 1893. And the reason for that is there was a very brief depression that happened, the Panic of 1893. So I like the idea of, if your average American can't get a job, what chance does he have?
Yep.
So he goes all around Boston looking for work, and that's when he turns to boxing. And I wanted this sort of idealistic mindset of, he doesn't know much about what he's getting into. He's just doing a few fights to make ends meet.
Mm-hmm.
But he still wants to honor his heritage and not make a mockery of it, which he has a trainer, which we see in one shot near the end, a promoter who does kind of want to make him like a sideshow.
Yeah.
And they are the two chief characters of the film. We have Doyle, the promoter, and Cian, the boxer. And Doyle himself was, I have him written, about 50 years old or so, and he came to America when he was 4 or so. So he came here during the height of that discrimination. That's what he grew up in. And what he's trying to convey is there is no way for someone like you or I to have a genuine American dream. So you have to do these underground illegal means, because boxing was illegal at this time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a different character that I have. She isn't in the proof of concept, but she's in the feature. It's my favorite character that I'm writing, a woman named Shaban, who she anglicizes. I'm a filmmaker, not an English major.
It's all good.
She goes by the name Sophia because it just sounds less Irish.
Yes.
And she runs a tarot shop where she essentially says, like, "Oh, I'm a mystic gypsy from Ireland," and she doesn't believe any of it. And she is kind of conveying what Doyle is saying, is that I'm trying to make a living, and there is no way to do that unless you make a mockery or you become some sort of sideshow. And Cian, he's almost like Rocky in that he's a glass half full kind of guy, even with people literally punching him down.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of the character development, and there are a few other characters sprinkled through. I always try to connect them to both history, but also the theme. I note carded the entire film, and on the top of the note cards, I have, "Can you make it in America as an immigrant?" And I have them all connecting to that theme in some way. Some are yes, some are no. Someone like Cian he wants to say yes, but maybe he knows that's not the case, at least at this time. and yeah, it's just been really as soon as I found that angle instead of just cool boxing film, that's when it was just kind of full steam ahead, and I wrote the feature very quickly.
And this is presumably based in Boston.
Boston, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'll watch any film that's based in Boston, particularly, and there's hundreds of them that are based in the South Boston kind of area, Mystic River, Gone, Gone Girl, Gone Baby, Gone,
Good Will Hunting.
Goodwill Hunting, all those. Because it is such a rich culture. But I wondered, like, does it matter to you about how you portray this community?
It's absolutely important, and I think that there is truth to how people put on a tough guy facade, if you will. Brendan, who was the big guy you see in the film, he was also the stunt coordinator, and he grew up in Southie.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at him in the film, and he's scariest looking dude
Yeah.
ever. He was nice as can be.
Yeah.
And he said, he's like, just growing up, you had to put on that mug. You had to just look as angry as possible because you either grow up tough or you don't grow up.
Right.
So when you have, in the opening of the film, Keenan gets mugged. And a lot of it isn't just to show off. A lot of it is survival.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't want to your point, I don't want to have those stereotypes. I don't want to have just the traditional. There was a film called Far and Away from the 90s with Tom Cruise.
Ugh,
Oh, God.
such a pile of garbage.
I try.
Did you say that? Yeah, no.
Yeah, she
it was
can.
terrible.
It was
Tom Cruise, if you're
horrible.
watching, like, I Like You Do. What were you doing?
I don't like you at all. Tom.
with your Irish accent. I wasn't digging it. And what's with that, like, auburn hair? Like, you didn't match it at all. But I have a lot of scenes where you see that the immigrants, because he's living in these boarding houses, he's working on railways, which a lot of them were built by Irish, African American, Italian immigrants. You see that, especially with the Irish, they try to honor that, and that's there are many scenes where they're dancing, where they're singing traditional songs. So it's yes, this was not a great time to be anybody who wasn't English in America, and even then, but it's still trying to make the best of a bad situation. So I've had a lot of scenes, too many, in fact, I had to cut a couple out, where it's the same tone that you would see evoked in, for example, the steerage scene in Titanic. To where, yes, your circumstances maybe aren't great, but you are working towards something.
Going back to these movies that are supposedly based in Boston.
He's a little upset.
Well, no, because I think frankly in this country you can't tell the true Irish American story without being in Boston. I think
Oh,
there's
yeah.
no
Correct.
other
Yeah.
place to
Yeah.
do that.
I would agree with that.
But I really feel like there should be a master class in Hollywood about the Boston accent. Because it's so, are you or are you not a cop?
Are you or are you not a narc? Like Johnny Depp in 21 Jump Street.
Ah, I see. Okay, a narc.
A narc, yes.
Yes. No,
What was I saying?
I was missing the R when you were saying. I heard narc.
What are you? What are you doing here? What are you doing?
I'm a federal agent. I'm a special agent.
Are you a boy or a girl?
My favorite movie of all time.
I heard that and I could, and it was, it was the guy from New Kids on the Block, whatever his name is, the smaller, whatever. So, and he was born in Boston, whatever, but that was so, I just fell out laughing, but that was supposed to be funny, right? But then you have these films, and I loved Mystic River. I really did love that. I think that's one of my favorite films ever. Shout out to Clint Eastwood.
was better.
The book was better. It was.
Just saying.
Usually.
But like Lawrence Fishburne, like I just wanted to find him and just beat him with something.
My gosh.
It was so bad. Like, you can be from Boston and not have
Correct.
a Boston
Yeah.
accent.
Yeah.
You can.
It's possible.
true.
It's
It
possible.
is.
Yeah. My
Um,
ex was born in New Bedford and worked very, very, very hard to eliminate the accent.
When I was in Virginia, I went the other way.
Oh.
I substitute teached down there in between film gigs. Shout out to any younger filmmakers. If you're looking for work to do in between film shoots, the public school system will just let you walk in. Basically, for me, it was either that or door dashing.
You know how many former students have done that substitute route? Because it's like day money. You can say yes or no when they call you,
Yep.
and you don't really.
You're out by 2:30.
And you
In
don't have
Mass,
to
you
do
get health
much.
insurance.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good gig.
Yeah, it's not bad. I still do it.
Yeah.
When I'm not working on sets.
Yeah.
But yeah, even to your point, Shutter Island was filmed in my town, and I love that movie. But when Leo says we are duly appointed federal marshals, New York is AW, Boston is AH. It's not hard. It's not hard.
I'm going to leave the whole Irish
Are you
accent.
sure?
I am.
Yeah, you
the
seem right. You
Bostonian
love
accent.
this. I
Well,
love
because I think it's so important to the culture. I mean,
It is.
that is a very important part of Boston's culture.
Oh my
is
gosh!
this.
When I
It's like,
moved to Boston, there was no GPS.
yeah,
There was no phones in your car. There was
Yeah.
none of that stuff. And I can remember
Right.
stopping and asking because Boston has absolutely no internal logic.
no,
It's all cow paths that have been paved over. So there's no grid. There's no nothing.
No.
You want to go right. You're going to need to go left. Okay, that's Boston. And I can remember I would stop and ask for directions, and have absolutely no idea what the person said to me.
that's hilarious.
Nothing. I didn't get anything. It's just like, because you don't want to, I don't
Can
understand
you
you.
say that again?
Yeah,
in
can you speak English? Or,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
It was
Did
horrible.
they tell you where to park your car?
Basically, yeah, but it was big, long, and it was really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the accent, and I would just be like, okay, and then I just drive to another place and say, can you tell me how to get to?
And by the way, audience, I have the same issues with actors who try and do West Indian accents, and I mean, it's just there should be classes among this. But anyways, back
think
to you,
there are.
Brendan. Do they take them?
Yeah, acting classes, doing accents. I don't know. Accents are weird.
They are weird.
Yeah.
We are so off on a different trail right now, and it's your job to get us back.
Yeah, what's up,
Like what you're saying.
Mr. I have a
Yeah.
question to ask.
Yeah, I know.
Then you
First you want to be a
self-producing.
part of it, now you don't want to be a part of it.
I thought Rochelle wanted to know about the accents. I thought that connected.
I can.
Oh, I meant Tony. I meant Tony.
Yeah, hello.
We're actually not twins, although we come across that on television.
I'm colorblind, people.
I don't see color.
I don't see color.
I'm colorblind here and here.
Yeah.
That was brilliant.
So, what are the kind of? I know you're working on this proof of concept, and then you're gonna hope to turn this into a feature.
Mhm.
Is there anything else that you're working on that you are coming up on the horizons?
Well, right now my whole life has just kind of been just this short, but I think the thing is because there is a probability that maybe something unfortunately won't come of this. But I think Robert Rodriguez put it best when he was like, you need to commit to a body of work. You shouldn't
Yes.
put all your eggs in. This is going to be the one. Even though I do think that there is a great market for this, I think that it would capture local and mainstream audiences. But I have a number of scripts and that I want to get done because I don't consider myself a strong writer. I consider myself more of like a visualist.
Mm-hmm.
But I just have these other ideas that I'd like to get done. I had one where I wanted to do a body cam found footage film. Because every 10 to 15 years, there's a found footage film that just blows up. Paranormal
Yeah.
Activity, Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
And body cam videos are just the biggest thing on YouTube right now.
Yep.
There's throw a rock, you'll find 18 different channels
Yep.
who all have 8 million subscribers. And I was just sort of preparing this script idea, and Kat, who is my cinematographer on The Dubliner, and her boyfriend Jimmy, who was my first AC, is like, Yeah, Jimmy already wrote a body cam film, and he's shooting it next week. And I'm actually in that short, so it was just more of an aw shucks.
Yeah.
But that's when you just, as I would tell my elementary kids, brush it off, brush it off. But yeah, I just think like there is a point where I believe that anybody who gets into film should cut their teeth on short films, even if you don't release it. It's just practice. Michael
Yep.
Jordan didn't become the GOAT by just sitting around. He practiced and he failed.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of the shorts that I made in high school and even in college, you can be nice that you've seen them. They're, maybe they're not the best narratively or technically, but I learned so much, and that's the best way. You can only learn so much from a book or just binging YouTube tutorials.
Right.
Like you actually have to go do it, and I think that stagnation and that hesitation to just kill people.
Mhm.
And if you say, "Oh, I'm just not ready," that's going to be written on your tombstone. Here lies so and so; they weren't ready.
Right.
So for me, it is I've put a lot of my time and effort into this short, and I've learned so much. This is only the third feature script I've ever written, and the other two will not see the light of day. But and managing a crew this size, this was the first time I had a gaffers and first ADs and producers, and a buddy of mine became an investor. Thank you, Zach. And getting permits, we again had to go to Martha's Vineyard. I had to get a skeleton crew out there. We got up at 2:30 in the morning. I wasn't paying them. A lot of favors cashed in, but the boat looks great. And the fight scene itself, that was a crew of 25, which I've never done anything like that. I've never had a stunt coordinator. So a lot of this was just sort of uncharted waters for me. And I'm very happy with the work. And there was, a lot of mistakes that were made, and there was a lot of locations that fell through, and I had to, on the fly, think of this, that, and the other thing as a solution. But that's from my experience, that's where your best work comes from. Is just embracing those limitations and thinking like, what's the most creative way I can get myself out of this proverbial hole.
Yeah.
For example, we did not have any gaffers the day before, any G&E actually, the day before our shoot. Apple shot a commercial the same week we were doing our film, and everyone dropped out.
Friggin' Apple.
Apple. Thank you for employing me that one time, Apple, but still. So my DP said to me, she's like, as of right now, we cannot do the scene. And I was not, there was no way we could delay it. I had people coming from all over the place. I had someone coming from New York to be in it. I bought insurance just for this week. So we spent 2.5 hours on the phone, me, Kat, and Miriam, my producer and first AD, who showed amazing leadership in that moment. And we were able to find 2. We needed 4, but 2 is what we had. And they were fantastic. Thank you, Mel and Tyree. And I think that's another thing is check your ego at the door.
Yes, absolutely.
Because when I had somebody like Miriam, who was my first, and originally I thought, I'm like, I don't need a first. I can yell action. No, you do.
Right.
Especially from someone, she was working on M. Night's new film up in Rhode Island. She was using her days off to help me out with my film. So having someone who knew just the lingo, she's probably the most knowledgeable person in production I've ever worked with. I was able to lock her down. So just knowing what your limitations are, and because I'm not a DP, so I got a DP. I'm not a soundy, so I got a soundy. And being open to on the fly, being open to critiques or observations, and like for example, we see it in the film where he sort of falls into frame there. We rehearsed it, and he kind of hit the ground a little hard, and he's like, no, I'm fine. And I said to him, I'm like, Patrick, we can circle back to this, but I know onset injuries, and I'm not looking to pay for an ambulance. So I just looked to Brendan, I looked to Miriam, and I said, what do you suggest? And we eventually came up with a much safer idea with a sound blanket and clever angle. And I think that if it was just me saying like, oh no, we'll do it this way or this way, it probably would have looked like shit.
Yeah.
So,
Check your ego at the door. That I think is one of the most important things that, because filmmaking is a collaborative effort.
absolutely.
People need to stay in their lanes, but also know that every position, if you wouldn't be there if that position wasn't important to the making of the
Right.
film,
Yeah.
right? And again, Rochelle and I are available for PAs.
Yep.
I just a little quick, call it a humble brag, whatever. But I actually got to speak to Francis Ford Coppola a few months ago.
What?
Wow.
How do you bury that lead? We're 50 minutes into the podcast.
For anybody who's just tuning in, he was giving a talk at the Coolidge. Shout out to the Coolidge.
Yes.
Everyone loves the Coolidge. I saw Megalopolis for the second time, and he was there, and he was taking questions, and I didn't want to come off as vain just asking about my own thing, whereas people were talking about populism and whatever, because old Francis likes to ramble. Love you, Francis. But I just asked for advice on my film, and he said at the end of the day, this is uniquely your story, so you need to put yourself into it. I mean, the reason he got hired for The Godfather is because they wanted an Italian director.
Yep.
And so if you got just Alan Smithy to direct it, it would be a completely different and probably worse film. But you look at his entire filmography, all of his films have these recurring themes of big families. There's always a big family, and even like Dracula or Dementia 13 or any of those little Roger Corman films he did. So I try to inject, what I've experienced in my personal life, because I touched on this before, and I don't want to, dour the mood at all. But a couple of years ago, I almost died on a film set. I was working on a TV pilot, and they didn't light the area correctly, and fell off of a wall, probably only 3 feet tall, and hit the ground pretty hard, and I had to be life flighted.
Oh my God.
And had my spleen removed. So that became, that hindered my ability to work for almost a year.
Wow.
And it kind of, sent ripples from what I've been told, at least to some capacity. They kind of changed how they do emergency contacts because they just lost mine, the production company. They just lost it. Gave it to them, gave them my dad's number, but so someone had to talk to someone who had to talk to someone,
Right.
who eventually someone had to call my best friend on Facebook Messenger to get it.
Oh my goodness.
Production life. So for me, I have kind of injected the kind of, I don't have a scene where Kean loses his spleen, but the sort of fears, the anxieties, whatever I was feeling at that time of, because for a little bit, I thought my career was over. I thought it was like, oh, he's the guy who falls on sets, whether it is his fault or not, and makes it pay for workers' comp. I thought it was never going to work again. So I was just asking myself, I'm like, can I still make this happen?
Yeah.
And thankfully I did. I literally got knocked down. But I was able to just pick myself up with, of course, just the help of especially my family, but my friends and my colleagues in the industry. I worked on a film about a year later, a Hallmark movie, and a friend on it who I didn't really know that well at the time. He was like, "Hey, you ever worked with this company?" I was like, "Yeah, they almost killed me one time." And he goes, "That was you."
Wow.
my
So you're
gosh.
legendary.
So yeah, that's happened more than once. So,
Okay, so don't trip in front of Meryl. That was bad advice.
yeah,
Like,
watch
don't-
your step. But I have kind of taken the approach of every day is an extra day.
Yeah.
Because I asked them how close was I, and they said you were very, very close.
Brendan, where can people find you, find your work, get in contact with you? Because we'll put like little lower thirds, but as my accessibility co-host here says that we have to also say it to our listeners who may be in their cars
Cass.
driving home
Yeah.
from parking
In Boston.
in Boston.
We're on 95 right now, you know.
Yeah, 95 or 495. What's his name from Kiss One Away? He used to call 495 the Hillbilly Highway. That's where I got
I don't know
that.
that. Yeah. Was that Maddie?
Maddie.
Yeah.
Yes. Maddie, we missed you. Come back. Anyways, where can people find you and your work?
You can find me on YouTube. It's make-the-line films. That's where all of my short films are. I also just for funsies, I edit trailers to existing films. If anyone's looking to be an editor, that's a great way to get some practice, learn timing and sound. You can also find me on Instagram at Brendan. What is it? Brendan-the-Manning. I like my dashes.
Okay.
So that is where you'll find a lot of my updates, a lot of the behind the scenes pictures that I post. Again, I'm a Luddite when it comes to just promoting yourself online. So that's mainly where I operate. But yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
You.
Very excited.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know, I used to have a saying when I first moved to Boston, all roads lead to Government Center. Because no matter where I was trying to go, that's where I always ended up going around and round and round.
Are you or are you not a parking expert in Boston?
I am not.
Do you
Lead
know
to Government Center.
there's 4 Tremont streets in Boston?
I know. What's really great is when there's an intersection, Tremont and Tremont.
Tremont, yeah.
It's like,
Right.
what are you
That's
supposed to do?
yeah. That's yeah.
Yeah. Every other place in the world.
I have
it's a
never
grid.
ever gotten lost in New York
No, because it's a grid.
because it's a grid.
It's a grid. You're like, oh, New York, drive it. No, it's very easy to drive in New York. You won't get very far very fast, but it's easy to do.
It is easy.
Boston?
To
No.
do. No. All right. Are we finished?
Yes, we are.
And that's the short of it.
Indeed.
The short of it is brought to you by the Den Beauty Lounge. Visit thedenbeautylounge.glossgenius.com for more information and book your appointment today.